As I stated in the previous video, every university needs a mechanism to develop cases of its own immediate context, which will be studied and solved in class. We will address that mechanism in this video. Problem-based learning and case methodology have more than enough theoretical, support and practical evidence to demonstrate their efficiency in strengthening the teaching-learning process. However, it is not as easy as just applying cases generated by other universities or those found in books of large publishing houses such as McGraw-Hill or Pearson. We must study our immediate environment to design our own tools, to develop our own cases as a response to the immediate work reality of our future professionals. It is with this purpose that I present here, through this video, a series of guidelines and recommendations, so that any career or faculty or college, university that has business-related careers may be able to design its own business observatory, just as universities that teach medicine or health-related careers. In many cases, they have their own hospitals, or they may work with third-party ones. Well, it is kind of the same thing. Every career needs a company, a business that belongs to the university in order to learn under controlled scenarios, more than the mere drills or internships with third parties. Our university should be able to have its own law firm, its own consulting room, studio, orchestra, dance troupe, travel agency, and so on. Whatever corresponds to each career, to each branch, to each faculty. On this occasion, my proposal is applied to a business observatory. By this I mean a company that offers consultancies to local businesses and ventures. But unlike a private firm, this observatory shall belong to the university, and it will serve to contribute to society by solving its problem with innovative proposals from the academy, but also it will serve to nurture the academy itself with the study of the society, developing through cases which will be recorded in a historical, documented way for its later study in classrooms, and it will serve as an example for the future. Process. Let's skip to the end. Imagine that we already gathered the people, the materials, and we've got everything that we may need. How will this business observatory work? The idea goes as follows. First, a company has a problem or opportunity that does not require an immediate solution, but rather it is for the medium or long term. That period will give us enough time to document everything, to develop the case, to study it, and to generate the best possible proposals. Here we have 3 examples. An already consolidated company wants to launch a new product, maybe the next semester. Does this example work? Well, yes, it does. Because the launch of a new product requires planning, a market study. The product must be designed. This is not something that can be solved overnight. Here we could mention the vegetarian Whopper, or one of the many fantas that come out from time to time. Next example. It is also valid to think of reinventing a product, not necessarily launching something new, as was the case of the Cineplanet in Peru, thanks to the IDEO consultancy group. Here I would like to mention that the project in question can be developed throughout a semester, but it can also last for a year at most, or a quarter at least. Third example, a startup wants to expand nationwide. This is kind of the same. This takes time, you have to look out for financial options, we will need to generate financial projections, forecasting, and so on. Therefore, any of these situations serves to our purposes. If a company's stocks plummets tomorrow, well, the company won't go to the university consultant group, at least not to develop a case. Under this situation, we should come up with a war room, a think tank, with our best teachers and top students. It is a service that we can offer, we could, but it is not the main topic for this video. Thus, a company has a problem whose resolution must occur in the medium or long term. Ergo, it decides to contact the university. That is the first step, the beginning of our process. Step number 2. The Business Observatory will delegate a consulting group to the case in question. This cell will be composed of a team of students from different careers. This will give us a broad, diverse, holistic, comprehensive, and specialized perspective. This team will have a research professor as a tutor or guide who will advise the students and review the carry out work, making sure that they meet quality standards for the consultancy. The group in charge to this case must document and systematize the problem. Addressing this problem implies making visits to the company, interviewing and/or surveying its collaborators, requesting information, reports, data tables, inventories, financial statements, and so more. Everything that we may need to understand the situation, the context, both internally and externally to the company itself, so that the proposed solutions may be the best to help and to optimize the results. Here is a detail. It is very likely that the company does not have all the required information. So it is a must that the students assigned to the team belong to different careers, so that each one will be able to generate whatever information we may need from the gathered data. This implies from crossing variables in Excel to forecasting scenarios or generating diagnosis. Step number 3. The provided information by the company and later processed by our students will be raw in educational terms. So this material must be processed once again. It must be filtered and reorganized into a business case model, so that it is not pure and hard data, but rather it will be didactic, andragogical material that can be used within our classrooms. A document with questions, objectives, that is arranged, organized. The educational unit will be in charge of this third step, in coordination with the consulting cell or group that was assigned to the case at the beginning of this process. Once the case was documented and designed as such under the case methodology alignments, it will be presented into our classrooms. In the subjects related to the company's objectives and main business, our students will resolve the case according to a series of quality requirements in a tentative format, but always open to incentivize creativity and critical thinking. The only thing that will be strictly fixed will be the deadline for submitting the proposals, due to a schedule and planning matter. Why would the students solve the case? What is their incentive? Grading, of course. And also because, according to the provided service by the Business Observatory to the company, those students with the best proposals or which ideas may be of the interest of the company might get an interview or internship with the company in question. As a next step, the consulting team that was previously assigned to the case will evaluate, combine, and systematize the proposed solutions and will generate two products that will be delivered to the company that acquired our services. These products are a report that will contain the initial diagnosis and gathered documentation, as well as the description, the detail of the proposed solution, with every related aspect such as needed supplies, materials, changes within the business procedures, and every other factor required to implement our proposal. Here we can also mention projections, quotes, and every other element corresponding to the case. Second, a set of slides that will summarize the most important elements of the document. Here I want to make 3 additional points. I have this alternative idea that on occasion we could organize a fair so that the students can present their proposals for solutions to the case of the company. This work may be done individually or in groups, and a delegation of the company that acquired our services will have to attend such fair. Ideally, there should be a manager from the company, but in any case, it should be enough with a bunch of employees from different areas and positions. Second point, the subjects of our university that are going to participate in the Business Observatory program must have a curricular design, a syllabus, a plan that allows them to incorporate any case that may come, that may arise. But the cases will be reviewed under specific periods of time, on certain dates. The observatory will not refer any cases to the subjects at any other time of the year. And if by any chance there were no active cases during one of these time windows, these subjects will have to take a case from the library or the virtual repository of past cases, either from the observatory itself or a case developed by other university, such as those that you may find in the books. Third, if a company needs a solution with a more immediate deadline, for example, a trimester, a quarter, and the time window does not match the availability of case reviews within our classrooms, it will be the assigned consultant group who will generate the needed solution to the case. And later on, this team will present every document that was gathered so that the case will be generated in a didactic way from that information. Then we will have a case that may be available for its later review within the different subjects of our university. Services. Well, what kind of services can we offer through this Business Observatory? Here is a short brainstorm. Positioning consulting, whether for a good, a product, a service, or the company as a whole. Whether we talk about the positioning of something new or the repositioning of something already launched. This implies from branding to digital marketing. Financial health consultancies to optimize costs, reduce debt, establish adequate levels of leverage, financing mechanisms, manage investments, liquidity, portfolio management, operating capital, treasury, and so on. Logistics and production consulting to optimize inventories, production times, distribution channels, entry logistics, storage conditions, and transportation, among others. Talent or human capital consulting, covering from the diagnosis of the environment, climate, and organizational culture to issues related to performance, recruitment, development, salary scales, and incentives. Product design consultancies. This implies carrying out a study of market needs, prototyping on all the necessary tests to obtain a new ideal product. User experience and customer journey consultancy. Because not everything is about the product, we also have to think about customer service, or website, or mobile application. The design of physical and virtual stores, setting, style, and aesthetics are also important. And finally, war room or think tank consultancies to generate short-term strategic solutions. And of course, any of these services can be given in a quarterly, semi-annual, or annual basis, with tentative start and end dates, either by a consultant team, the team and the students in our classrooms, or even under this form of fair. Team composition. The Business Observatory will be composed as follows. We require a manager, director, or coordinator who will supervise the work of all the other members, teams, and units. This coordinator should be a full-time researcher, a professor with 1 or 2 assigned subjects, with a leadership profile, who has general knowledge about the business world, ideally a Bachelor of Commercial Engineering or Business Management, with a master's degree specializing in a particular area. It may be marketing, finance, economics, management, logistics, international trade, and so on. Or, alternatively, if his degree is already in a specialized area, his post-degree must be more general, such as an MBA, but he has to also have studies in education, higher education, such as a diploma and maybe another post-degree in research, or ideally a second master's degree under these subjects. According to the number of students that may be willing to participate with the Business Observatory program, more than one consulting cell or team may be created. Each team will be composed of a leader, who ideally should be from a general career, and specialist students from different careers. Now, who can be part of these cells or teams? Students of excellence who have completed at least half of their careers without delays, with a minimum score average of 75%. In fact, we should extend an invitation to these students and not to wait for them to apply. Each team will have a mentor, a tutor, a professor who will supervise the work of the team. This professor will not carry out their work. He will not appropriate from the research nor the proposals, but rather will advise, will give recommendation to the students, guidelines, ideas. He will be a guide, but of course, he will also guarantee that the proposal meets quality standards for a consultancy. Besides, we will also need 2 specialized units. A support unit with 2 or 3 students that will provide marketing, public relations, finance, treasury, and management services to the Business Observatory itself. Because, well, we need to get clients to do consultancies, and we must publish and promote our results in social media. In addition, funds should be managed for travel expenses, snacks, payment, and fees. if the university does not do this separately. And even if this is the case, it is necessary to make budget requests, to manage approvals and monitor the internal bureaucratic processes of the university. That is what this unit is for. And although they are students, their work is really relevant, and they will be under the supervision of the coordinator of the Business Observatory, who will ultimately sign and approve any important document and will attend any relevant meetings with companies that could acquire our services. The last but not least unit is the educational or didactic unit, which will collaborate with each cell or consulting team so that the cases are documented in a didactic way and can be presented into our classes. I recommend for this unit to be composed of a teacher of excellence, recognized for his didactics and his andragogical methodologies, who wins the position through a student contest or vote. And since we are talking about a unit, this professor can be in charge of a couple of students from careers such as education, psychology, economics, or business management. Material and digital requirements. Regarding the necessary material, equipment, and spaces for our business observatory, we need a conference room, such as a war room, a think tank, a space set to apply design thinking methodologies, designed as an active learning classroom with several outlets, a projector, a computer, blackboards, color markers, colored sticky notes, high-speed internet, non-fixed tables, and ergonomic chairs. This room will be used by the consulting teams in shifts under previous appointments. In this regard, each team should be available to have a laptop for their field work. That is for when they have to go to these different businesses to make interviews and to document everything on site. Now, for the day-to-day, I assume that each consulting team should be able to use some computer lab available at the university if they do not have personal computers. Besides, we require an open office that will be shared by the coordinator, the support unit, and the educational unit. Each person will have its own desk and laptop. Plus, we will need a second projector, an extra whiteboard, color markers, sticky notes, high-speed internet, a file drawer, and why not? A coffee maker or a kettle can't hurt anybody. Regarding software, licenses will be needed for every software related to the provided services, from simulator to design applications, so that we can provide a high quality service. Additionally, we must have academic email addresses, better if these are from Google. We will also need the basic collaborative cloud-based tools to store and to process text, spreadsheets, and slides. In addition to this, we should also have a Canva license or some other simple but complete graphic editor and stock material repository. Why would we need such a license? Because we must advertise ourselves. We must disseminate the results of the Business Observatory. And because the cases should not be delivered to our students as a mere Word that was converted to PDF, but rather as a more aesthetic ebook. So we will need to design this report. Other considerations. 3 final points for my proposal. When we talk about the process under the 4th point, I pointed out that the students with the best proposals should be able to get an interview in order to obtain an internship. Why do I say an internship and not a job? Well, because these students will still be in college for a while. They may be freshmen or sophomores. Business cases will be presented in subjects from almost every semester, from different generations. Furthermore, most of the work will be done by the consulting team within the Business Observatory. They will systematize the report, filter and complement the best proposals. So in any case, it should be the students from the Business Observatory who should be able to get job opportunities in those companies with which they have collaborated. And I emphasize job opportunities, nor mere internships, because they already have an internship in the Business Observatory. Second, the offered consultancies are not free. They have costs and therefore they should have a price. Yes, it is probably a lower price than a regular consultancy from a private firm, but we have to charge for these services. With the collected money, we must pay salaries, wages, or fees to the professors and the students who work in the Business Observatory, because every project must be financially sustainable. And although our students will be interns, they cannot and should not work for free. The university should be the first to recognize the merit, the effort of its own students. And if there is money left over, this income will be used to finance research within other areas of the university. Because let's be honest, many times there is a lack of funds and resources to finance research. Third, and this is my last point, the finished documented cases may be reviewed in classes. They will serve as bibliographic material for future thesis and research. Yes, okay, but we could also publish these business cases. Sensitive information may be treated confidentially. We may anonymize names, brands. Okay, but we should publish. This material may be useful to other universities and it generates prestige for us. It gives us points in the rankings of universities. Or, well, if we don't want to publish for free, we can sell the licenses to use these business cases to big publishing houses such as McGraw-Hill or Pearson. What is the next step? Present this video or the document that is attached below to your university. If you have doubts, queries, feedback, I remain attentive to the comment section. If you like, you may hire me and I will help you to improve and to implement this project according to the needs and characteristics of your particular university. Or if you prefer, you can do it on your own. Let's not depend on the business cases found in the books. Let's generate our own material. Let's contribute to our immediate society, to those stakeholders that are near our college or university, to the companies in our community, to our neighbors. We may start one step at a time, but let's begin.